This year, renew the merry custom of giving something homemade, like your own fruitcake. It's the most thoughtful gift of all because you cared enough to bake it. It's really easy once you have the perfect recipe. It's on the cartons of Imperial Brown Sugar, cordial fruitcake. And now's the time to start baking if you want to give or serve your cordial fruitcake during the holiday season. Fruitcake needs plenty of time to mellow.
Hey guys, today we are going to try something different. We're going to try a fruitcake. Now I haven't tried a fruitcake in over 40 years. What about you, Bobby?
It's probably been about 40, 45 years.
So come and experience that with us and we'll probably tell you a little bit of info about the fruitcake. So are you ready, Bobby?
Ready.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. So there it is, the fruitcake. It looks really pretty.
It looks festive. I guess that's why it's such a popular
the reds and the green,
Christmas item. First time I ever tried a fruitcake was probably 45, 50 years ago. I don't remember the exact date. It was with my grandmother. We always got them at the A&P food chain. I worked there. Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. They sold the Jane Parker fruitcakes. Remember those, Bobby?
I don't remember because I was so young I don't remember the name. I remember seeing them in the store, but I don't remember the name.
Those were the most popular ones back then. And I read that a few years back, because that company's been closed down for years, that a couple people went out and bought the recipe and they're making them again. I found them on Amazon. I think they're like 50 or 60 bucks for one of those. But that's what I can remember. I can't remember if I liked it. I haven't tried it since. But what about you?
At my grandmother's house, she always had her fruitcake. It was a tradition. I do remember trying them and not liking them. They just seemed so heavy and dense to me. I didn't like the flavor. But I looked up on the internet some recipes. I think they're all probably different. We might need to get that recipe John's talking about and sell some of those.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot in a fruitcake. It's no wonder they're heavy. I mean, you've got your brown sugar, all-purpose flour, baking soda, ground cinnamon, cloves, allspice, nutmeg, eggs, lemon zest, vanilla, tons, but rum or apple juice. Now, the traditional fruitcake has the candy fruit, nuts, and raisins.
And they also put in some items. I have to write this down because I can't remember everything. They put pineapple in there, cranberries, lemon, and orange, and dates, and a lot of high-proof alcohol, like Bobby said.
Yeah. When I looked up the recipes, it said sometimes it took several days for people to prepare for this because they would put the candied fruit in either rum or apple juice for 2 to 3 days. And some of the recipes said people started it several months before baking it.
And I did read that. It said if you want to give the ideal fruitcake to somebody, you need to prepare it at least 3 months ahead of time. That's crazy.
It is crazy. But this does smell good. Can you smell it while we're setting
I cannot.
Really?
No. It looks nice.
It smells sweet to me.
Looks like jelly, like the cherries look all like jelly to me. Now I'm going to give you the definition of a fruitcake. I looked it up. Here's what I came up with. I'm going to read it. It's a dense loaf of bread dotted with red and green cherries. You see that all over that. Sometimes used with rum or alcohol. It's typically dry, and the cherries do not give it much flavor. Now, if you look at a bunch of other ones, it says it's moist, sweet. But that was just, when I type it in, what's the definition of a fruitcake? That's what came up. This one weighs almost 2 pounds. It's a little cake. Quick history on the fruitcake. They started back in the 1400s, came to America in the 1600s, and in the old days, if you had one of these, it was a sign that you were wealthy. What do you think of that?
Well, I guess because of all the fruit that goes in there and the nuts, it probably would be expensive to make.
So if you have one of those, that means you have some money. Now, these became very popular in 1913 because of mail order. Everybody was ordering them. And you guys are probably wondering, how do they keep that long? Well, the oldest fruitcake, I'm going to put a picture in this video of it, is 141 years old, and it's in Michigan. Now, how do these last that long? I'm going to tell you. Wrote it down. They last long because there's no water activity basically in these. All the sugar, low moisture ingredients like the water, and high proof alcohol. I saw if you have one of these and you come in every 2 weeks and pour alcohol over it, it's going to last you for decades. What do you think of that, Bobby? I should put that in there. We'll make one of these, and every 2 weeks your job's going to be to freshen it up with some alcohol. Don't know why you'd want to do that, what the reason for that would be.
Yeah, why do you want to save it?
I don't know. Now, when looking for little history on these fruitcakes, I ran across something else. Many people have eaten fruitcakes that are over 20 years old. What about you? Would you try that?
I wouldn't, but I wonder if that's how old the cake was that I had at my grandmother's.
It could have been. And they say it tastes moist and good. I don't know. I didn't get into it. It didn't say how they kept it. They poured alcohol. They had to have alcohol in it. No way it would have kept that long. But I don't know if I would eat a cake that's 20 years old. And I saw some people were eating them at 100 years old. They had a cake that they kept doing that to, and they would take a little taste of it, and the cake was 100 years old. And I don't know why it would be anything left of it after 100 years. Everybody kept eating on it, but that's just what it said. So if any of you guys are going to go out and buy a fruitcake and you want it to stay fresh and you want to not get sick when you eat it, I'm going to tell you what the USDA recommends. 1 month in a pantry. Wrap it in plastic wrap. You can keep it 6 months in your fridge, 1 year frozen. So maybe, you know what we should do? We should eat a bite of this, Bobby, wrap it, put it in the freezer, and try it again next year at this time.
We could, if we remember it's in there.
Yeah, we probably won't even remember, but I don't even know how we're going to like this. Now, the last thing we're going to bring up before we try this good-looking fruitcake here is the downfall and why this became a joke in America, because I thought it was a joke. You see people throwing it through windows and all that stuff, just parodies everywhere. Johnny Carson. Everybody remembers Johnny. He was on all the time. In the 60s, he made a joke saying this is the worst Christmas gift anybody could ever get. He said, so what you do, you would get one of these, then I would pass it on to Bobby. Bobby's like, I'm not going to eat that. Then she would pass it on to somebody else. And that same fruitcake just got passed around to everybody. So almost every year at holiday season, Johnny would do a skit about the fruitcake. Now we're going to get ready and eat this.
But before we do, I got a little trivia myself for you, John.
Some trivia from me.
You looked up so much history.
Okay.
Here's a question for you.
All right, see if I know.
Now, we know that the fruitcake is always at Christmas time. But what other special time do you see a fruitcake?
I read that.
Did you read my notes?
No, I read that when I was looking it up. Wedding.
A wedding, yes. So you passed the test.
Oh,
you did study well.
I did. I mean, I went through and just tried to get some, we didn't want to bore you to death, just some info on a fruitcake. We thought it was fun.
I've been to a few weddings, not a lot, but I've never seen a fruitcake
Me
at
neither.
a wedding. So if you've ever been to a wedding, let us know if you've ever seen a fruitcake there.
Now, when we went out and were looking for fruitcakes, most of the ones we saw were little squares. This one came from Walmart. It was $12. When we got them years ago, I remember, or got them as gifts, I would see them around. They were always in a tin.
A real pretty tin.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the fruitcake that we picked up at Walmart. Now, the ingredients in this one are raisins. I think I see one right there. Cherries, pecans, walnuts, eggs, milk, soy, wheat, and maybe some almonds and coconut. How does that look again, Bobby?
I think when you see them, it's very pretty with the colors of the greens and the reds. And I can smell it smells sweet to me.
And they have it wrapped up almost like a cupcake wrapping.
I'm gonna, as you and see. And it looks sticky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like it has some kind of glaze or something. Maybe all the, see it? Like, it's shiny. I don't know what's on top
It's like
of
a
it.
sugar glaze.
And there's probably a lot of sugar in there. That one, I didn't see any ingredients that has any alcohol in it. Are you ready to cut it open?
Cut it.
Let's see how it cuts. How'd that go through? Decent?
I mean, it's it's heavy.
Like a
or
saw?
thick. Okay. And I didn't use a knife. I mean, I'm just using the end of this.
See the side view once you get it. A lot of raisins in there. I can see that.
All right. What is it? I'll give you your plate and put it on there for you.
All right.
Now, can you smell the sweetness?
Let me see.
You don't even have to.
Yeah, I can smell it. It smells a little like cherries. You see all the raisins in it. There's the walnuts and pecans in there. Let me see how it feels. Very heavy, very sticky. Bobby's going to try the first piece of it. So let me go to her. Let me just show you the two pieces that she cut out of here, out the sides. Here's her piece. Now, you have a lot of cherries in through yours.
See some raisins.
That ought to be sweet.
We're drinking water today. First thing I kind of noticed, it seems, when I touched it right through there, it felt dry.
It's
you
a
said it's
crumbling.
moist.
It's supposed to be moist. Now, before I ask Bobby what she thought of it, gave you guys the definition of a fruitcake in an earlier example, but there also was another one. It said a fruitcake should be rich, taste like dried fruit and spices and alcohol. They're not supposed to be dry. So we're going to ask her which definition is right. Let's just get one more look at that. Man, yours is loaded with all those cherries.
Now, when I tasted it, it wasn't dry. It did taste moist. Maybe it was the cherries. I thought it had the sweet flavor, and I could taste the raisins and the nuts. This is a lot better than when I was growing up. And I'm thinking, I wonder if the one my grandmother always had the rum in it. And maybe that was the flavor I didn't like. But this one is pretty good.
So would you eat that regularly? Like if you went into a restaurant and you could get a chocolate cake or a pie, pumpkin pie, or fruit cake, what are you getting?
I'm not going to order this. But I think we'll finish this, or maybe we'll let the kids eat some of this for Christmas. We'll save it.
Yeah,
but
maybe we should do that.
This one's pretty good.
All right, guys, I'm going to try mine. And we were talking about all the cherries, so I flipped mine over. I do have some in there. But I'm going to try this green cherry all by itself to see if it is sweet. These cherries are maraschino cherries. They candy them by reducing them in sugar syrup. Oh yeah, and by the way, for any health people out there, 3.5 grams of fat in the serving of this. Says there's supposed to be 18 servings in this one. Let's try it. That's pretty good. It is sweet. I wasn't expecting it. I was just expecting it to taste nasty. But the cherry, very sweet. Now let's just get a piece of the whole thing. I'll go after this side. I'll get some cherries, raisins, and some walnut pecans in there. That stuff is so heavy. That's just what's amazing. Now, looking at it, the way it crumbles all up, it looks dry.
It does.
Guys, that is pretty good.
A lot better than what we had when we were kids, right?
That I can remember. I don't remember liking it like that.
Maybe you had the rum in yours too.
Maybe I didn't like it, but that is sweet. Have the crunch of the walnuts and pecans in there. And it must be that corn syrup in there that they're using and all that sugar that's making it
You can just
so
see how
sweet.
sweet the glaze that is.
Yeah, I've been missing out, and you too, Bobby, for the last 40 to 50 years on eating one of these. We just thought it was a joke thanks to Johnny Carson. Now, when we were out looking at fruitcakes, a lot of them had like frosting on them or icing on top of them. So I bet you that would be really good with some kind of, I don't know what kind of icing they used on them. That would even add more sweetness to it.
I don't think it needs icing. I think it would take away from everything.
Do you? It might. But that is very good. I think you guys are wanting a bite. I'm gonna get you guys
Give them
a
a
good
big
bite.
bite with the cherry.
Oh, right there. They want this one. You guys want this one? Well, I'm gonna give you 2 cherries. We'll give you that green one, and there's a raisin. If I can get it. Look how it crumbles, though. It just looks so dry, but it is not. There, you got everything in there. Go ahead. One last bite. Back on for just 1 minute. Gone. Very moist. After you guys watch this, if you're interested in going to Walmart and getting the same one we had, there's the container it was in. Shelf life, June of next year. I mean, it wasn't wrapped. We showed you, it just had this around there. It's not refrigerated. As soon as we walked into the store, it was right by the produce department on a huge display with a lot of them. Probably gonna be a lot of them left over after Christmas. You might be able to get one at 50% off.
So we wanted to thank everyone that sent cards or a gift. Some beautiful cards. We really appreciate them. Some people even made them.
Yeah, that one's homemade. And this one.
So there's the ornament with us inside.
That's a neat idea.
It is. Gingerbread cat.
Everyone knows you like gingerbread.
I love gingerbread.
We have something else gingerbread too.
That is really cute, isn't it?
Yeah, hold her.
The candy bar in there. Maybe if you're nice, I will share that with you,
I
John.
appreciate that.
And an Elvis key ring.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our little tribute, I guess, and taste testing of the fruitcake. What did you think about it, Bobby?
I'm glad we tried it because I've always hated fruitcake, but this one I enjoyed. I thought it had a lot of sweetness in it. It had a lot of cherries in it, didn't it?
There's a lot of cherries in that one.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that was a $12 one from Walmart. And when I was researching, I was looking at some of the best ones in the country, and some of them are $40 and $50. So I can't imagine what they would taste like. I think that one was pretty good by itself. It was moist, sweet. I thought it would be dry and just no flavor at all. But I was really surprised.
And this one didn't have rum in it.
No, it did not have rum.
And like I said, I think when we were growing up, or I know the one I had, I think growing up, had the rum in it. So maybe that's why I didn't like it.
And I think a lot of those ones online have a little bit of alcohol in it. So now when I hear about a fruitcake, I might look at it in a different way. Leave in the comments. Do you guys like fruitcake, or have you even bought one for years?
We wanted to thank everyone for the cards. We've enjoyed reading what you wrote inside of them and the gifts. We appreciate it. They look so pretty on the tree. Can't wait to try that candy bar and put my house key on that Elvis ring.
Bobby's going to share that candy bar with me because that's what they wrote. Make sure
They did say to
that
share
you
it.
share that so you can eat the whole thing. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching all this year. We really appreciate it. We love reading your comments. You guys have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah, so until we meet again,
J&B
have left the building.